Welcome back to the Hoops Temple podcast. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz, and joining me from New Zealand, Dylan Williamson.
Good morning, guys.
And joining us back from wandering the wilderness of Yosemite, Aaron, how have you been for the last month?
I've been wonderful. I want to formally thank both of you guys letting me hop back in on a whim, on a day's notice, just crashing the party. Thank you for having me.
You have
Aaron's
so many
been
Keon
gone.
Ellis takes that you want to get off that you couldn't resist coming back.
That's true. I due to my schedule limitations, I haven't been watching a ton of basketball. But this what we're doing today is more big picture stuff. I can key in on that. But I have been watching Keon Ellis under a microscope for the past couple months, so I know everything about that.
You got the synergy all plays up every single Keon Ellis play you watch before bed.
Absolutely.
He got the start against the Magic, and did you guys know on NBA.com you can click like in the box scores to just watch the Keon Ellis makes?
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
NBA.com.
Actually,
anything highlighted
I
in
did
blue,
know that.
if you just click that, it just takes you to a stream of just that. So like you want to see Wembanyama's 7 blocks, boom. NBA.com, click on the blocks, and it'll just show you his 7 blocks from last night. Like it's a nice feature.
Can I click on just Kawhi's minutes so I don't have to watch the team playing without him and getting destroyed whenever he's off the floor?
Good.
I don't know if it'll do that.
Keon Ellis has unlocked the Kings defense.
We have a reemergence of a last year or 2 years ago. Oh, I just lost everyone. You guys still there?
I'm here.
Did I lose you? Am I lost? Okay.
Lost you for a second.
I loaded a web page and everything like went black for a second.
Yeah, you can only do one thing at a time, sorry.
We have the reemergence of a 2-year-old, maybe 1-year-old bit, which began as, is this guy Kris Dunn, meaning gone and done, out of the league. We'll never see or hear from him again. And we're bringing this back to, are you done or are you Kris Dunn? So, are you going to be gone from the league or are you going to reemerge like the phoenix that Kris Dunn has become, stapling himself into the Utah Jazz roster? Gentlemen, I thought a fun way to do this would be we throw out a name. Maybe we alternate throwing out a name. But we don't say if we are done or Kris Dunn on this guy. So, for instance, I will throw out the first name, him, and then you gentlemen will tell me how you feel about him, and then I'll give the final word of, yeah, I'm either done or I'm Kris Dunn on this gentleman. And my name is going to be Alexei. His name is going to be Alexei Pokashevsky.
That's good pronunciation. I think you actually had it. Dylan,
you're done.
I'd love to take this one.
You're done on trying to pronounce his name. But yeah, I mean, like, there's a trend going on within the NBA of these string bean centers who have some ball skill and can block shots, but maybe don't really fit in other places. Lost his way out of the Thunder's rotation. Although that is fairly easy to do because of how deep they are. A former favorite of the Hoops Temple podcast. For those who aren't familiar with the deep lore, there was an incredible, maybe 50 episode run where no matter what the topic of the podcast was, Alexei Pokashevsky's name would be mentioned at some point. Entirely, legitimately. And so I know that you are not done on Alexei Pokashevsky. I know you're ready for. You're Kris Dunn, Alexei Pokashevsky. You're ready for the resurgence.
I had to hop on that as well. I think Kris Dunn, understanding Nate, despite Poku's struggles at the game of basketball recently, this whole season, really, he's only 22 years old, and I understand the interest. He got sent to a place where unserious basketball can be played, and he's doing just that. I'd be pretty shocked if you think if he's completely done. But I'd be interested. I'm gonna say
Uh,
Kris Dunn finally.
Oh no, I am 100% on the Kris Dunn side of this. I think next year in Charlotte, we will not have seen the end of Poku. He will be the starting power forward next year. The front court will be him, will be Mark Williams, and I hate to say it, it would probably be Miles Bridges. But then in the backcourt, where you're going to have Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, and they are going to be fun. They're going to be fast. You're going to have ball movement and playmaking. And it's going to be just awesome. 100% Kris Dunn.
Not to mention, off the bench, you've got fellow Dunn or Kris Dunn fringe candidate Vasilije Micic, who looked entirely un-NBA worthy on the Thunder, and then found his way. I think it's played well enough that he's not even eligible for this list.
Yeah. I feel like if he were to go to Europe next year, which I don't think there's nothing to stop him from going to Europe next year. I'm not sure if he's under contract, but like if he chooses to, it's his own volition of maybe a lifestyle choice as opposed to a I'm not good enough choice. Aaron, do you have the next name for Dunn or Dunn?
Yeah. I want to get a little spicy. My name is Ben Simmons.
Ooh.
Now, Ben Simmons has one more year. So next year, he is owed $40 million. But will he play another NBA game? Or is this just the end for him?
You guys answer the question first.
Oh, true. We need to answer it. I have him on my list. I have him on my list as a Dunn candidate. I just don't think I ever see him suiting up again. I think maybe his contract gets moved a few more times. I was kind of checking for Victor Oladipo, but he hasn't played a single game this year. And I think Ben Simmons is just going to be the next Oladipo. Just a guy that never fully recovered from injury. And we talk about the what if or what could have been. And whether you want to say it's a physical injury or a mental injury, I just don't know that I ever see him stepping on NBA court again.
Yeah, and the difficulty becomes beyond injuries and any mental roadblocks that he has in playing is that he also just doesn't really do a whole lot on the basketball court anymore. So even if he can get healthy and he's ready to go, a non-shooting point guard who's slipped athletically and defensively, like I really don't know what value that's bringing to an NBA team.
I mean, he's a playmaking four at this point, and not even a point guard because, like,
the Nets have the most success playing him at center, but he can't protect the rim at all.
Yeah. Aaron, are you done or done on him?
I'm done. I am done for real. It comes back to the injuries. I think at this point, the back injury is going to be so serious. He played 15 games this season, and I can't imagine a world where he gets to 20 next season. And at that point, he's a free agent. And so are you thinking like another team is going to sign him? Because that even at his best, even if we're looking for 2021 Ben Simmons, it still comes with the free throw issues. It still comes with the confidence issues. I just can't see it. It's mostly his health. I think he's going to be too hurt to continue to play basketball.
I feel like I can see the rest of his career trajectory, which is goes through all of next season totally unplayable, hits free agency, and then ends up on the Lakers as the starting power forward on a 38-win team. It's just inevitable.
That hurts.
Hell yeah.
That hurts.
LeBron can fix him. 45-year-old LeBron.
Young king.
What's terrible is so many of these names I was looking at, and that kind of became my median stick, was like, could this guy be on the Lakers next year?
Is he a shit shuffle candidate?
Yeah. Like, will I be trying to talk myself into like, oh no,
Cam Reddish?
Lakers signed Dario Saric. Like maybe that's gonna make a huge thing. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd actually love Dario. Dario would be great. Maybe I can't have him in this list. Dylan, who's your first name?
Perhaps the most direct Kris Dunn parallel among the Dunn or Kris Dunn players. Anyone see an NBA future for Frankie Smokes? He had some really good minutes last year and then has been unplayable this year. or they refuse to play him. He's had some injuries, but I still think one of the best point of attack defenders in the NBA. And if you surround him with other good offensive players, good enough to at least fit in, are we saying Dunn or Kris Dunn? Oh, Frankie
Does anyone
Smokes.
want to take a guess of what Frankie Smoke shot from the field this season?
I have it up in front of me, so I'm ineligible, but it's not good.
It's not great. Dylan, do you want to take a guess? Played in 5 games, 1.8 shots per game.
1.8 field goal attempts.
He took 9 shots. How many did he make?
It's got to be like 2 of those, right?
It's one. It's one of them. He made one.
He's got to at least make 2. No.
He took 9 shots, 8 of which were threes, and he made 1 3. I'll say done. I'll say the defensive prowess does not make up for his offensive limitations. Nate, you're muted.
I was trying to real quick pull up what his injury was because he's been out and he has a fractured tibia right now. And I'm just going to say, if we're like already debating done or not done, like having a fractured tibia is not a good thing to come back from when you're already like a borderline will never play again case. I have him in my done category, meaning will never play again. But I had a similar guy to him with Dennis Smith Jr., who last year exploded onto the scene again after being, looking like he was going to head out of the league. Last year he shows up, he's an all defensive team candidate. And this year, maybe not so much. What do you guys see? Do you see him heading to Europe next year, or is he going to be able to revive his NBA career in hopes?
I think he'll remain. I'm not sure if he's going to remain in the league. Like if there's a rejuvenation, but his defensive aspect, it was better last season. I mean, we were really into that. Is there a neutral answer? He's not going to be Kris Dunn, but I'm not sure if he's done either. I'll lean towards done. I don't think there's a rejuvenation for Dennis Smith Jr.
Just the slow drift out.
I kind of think a change of scenery might be good for him. Like that Brooklyn team is in a really weird situation where they're without a real number one creator. Obviously, most of the downside of playing Dennis Smith is that you have to play him at point guard and he's a really bad offensive player. But if you can get really good offensive talent around him, then he can fit in a lot easier. And there's also this weird phenomenon in Brooklyn where their entire roster are good defenders, but somehow none of them can defend. And so he's kind of fallen into that. And so a change of scenery may break that Brooklyn curse.
It's hard to play defense when you can't score. So the other team just gets endless transition takes or doesn't have to.
It's the Jokic defensive player of the year argument.
Yeah. Like if you score, then you get to get back and set up defense. If you score, where the other team probably had to expand effort trying to stop you. If you can't do either of those things, it's hard. I leaned to the Kris Dunn side of things with Dennis Smith Jr. He's still young enough that like 26 will be 27 next year. I think that there is a right team scenario. Like, could he sign with Brooklyn or not Brooklyn? Phoenix.
Not Brooklyn, please.
Sorry, he's in Brooklyn. If he could go to Phoenix next year, I'd just be like hey, we're a backup guard. I think that there is some potential for him to be good.
I like that fit.
Yeah.
Just a team that doesn't really have a point guard anyways, and so you don't. What's the issue with playing a bad one if you're just going to facilitate everything through Durant and Beal and Booker?
Yeah. So he's my Kris Dunn. Then Aaron, who's your next Dunn or Dunn?
Talen Horton-Tucker.
Fuck yes. He wishes he was Eric Gordon.
Go ahead.
$11 million expiring salary. Who wants him? The man is too short to play defense, has no hops, is slow as shit. Get this guy out of the league. Let him go play in like Turkmenistan or like Yugoslavia. Like there's got to be somewhere that this guy can go. And I know Turkmenistan's not real. I know Yugoslavia broke up in '92. That's just where he belongs.
Turkmenistan's real.
Fine, Turkmenistan's real.
They
Go
just have
play-
inferior
Yeah,
potassium.
it's a country in Central Asia. It's one of the stands out there.
Great. I am out. I do think he'll play next year. I think someone will sign him. But I think you're like maybe 1 year too early, and he is on his way out of the league.
Go ahead, Bill.
THT about to unlock a new side of Stan Twitter.
I think you guys nailed it. I'm done on Tucker. I don't see the value. And on a Utah team that just has nothing to lose, like he's playing and playing pretty terribly. In Colin Sexton is playing fantastic. That would have been a fun Kris Dunn candidate. Although he, the numbers are always good, but he's been really effective this season.
Yeah.
Tucker, not great this season. 9 points, 3.5 assists on 39% shooting and 33% from three. He is a 6'4" shooting guard.
Thus far, everyone that's been mentioned has been on my like long list of done or done candidates.
Do you
Dylan,
want
who's
to
your next guy?
curveball in?
Yeah.
Coming out of New Zealand. Do you guys remember Anthony Lamb?
Ooh. You're making the comeback case?
Had a really nice stretch with the Golden State Warriors 2 seasons ago. He was one of their 5 players that were actually playable because he could do anything on offense and defense. Big shot maker, solid size to defend on the perimeter. He's averaged about 20 points in the NBL. I think it's time for an Anthony Lamb comeback.
Wow.
How old
I
is
have
Lamb?
no commentary on that.
all
He's
all
26.
NBA first team.
Wow.
Look, when you're watching an NBL game, certain guys stick out for just being, so far above the others in terms of talent level. Like you watch them when they get the ball, you just understand that this is a different level of player. And Duop Reith, who's on the Blazers, playing solid minutes. Watching him live, it's like he just stands out. It's like this is a different caliber of athlete. And Anthony Lamb is the same way. Like when he gets the ball, it's a bucket. And I think he can still contribute to an NBA team.
Lamb is 26 right now. Will be 27 next year. I messaged you guys before this, kind of saying like, hey, also think about guys like Dante Exum, who you still kind of believe in. And so I like this, Dylan. I love this. I like the case for him to be a Dunn candidate, as in Kris Dunn candidate.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised when he ended up in New Zealand. I thought he played well enough to be on an NBA team.
I do have a pair of EuroLeague guys that I want to try to make the case for why they should be Kris Dunn candidates.
As long as one isn't Kemba.
Kemba's shit in EuroLeague, dude. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. I gotta get spicier. I gotta mix it up.
All right. Well,
you gotta go into the Yugoslavian league.
I'll give you my spiciest take here, and I'm going to tell you whether it's Dunn or Kris Dunn. And off the bat, I'm going Al Horford if the Celtics win the title. He is done. He's going to Tim Duncan this right off into the sunset. I'm calling it here and now. If the Celtics win, he's announcing his retirement.
Interesting. I like the angle. I like the older player angle. Yeah, that feels right. Al Horford, effective from day one to the very end.
He's someone that could play again. And my test of would I be excited about him signing with the Lakers? Surprisingly, yes. I would be very excited about him joining the Lakers. But he's got one more year, $9.5 million. I think if they win the title, he says, you know what, this has been a good career. I'm 37. It's time for me to hang it up, and just walks off into the sunset.
I like it. I mean, it's all gonna depend on how he feels. Like this dude can still clearly play. He's a first team all sixth man.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Aaron, who's your next name?
I'm gonna let me think for a moment what direction I want to take this. Yeah, let's do it. Killian Hayes. Pistons guard, notoriously the worst player in the NBA, but exciting. The exciting worst player in the NBA. Commanded, I believe was it the longest single season losing streak? Did they? I was thinking about this earlier today. Did they get there? They broke it, right?
They got there.
Yeah.
They got there. Captain that. I watched the last Killian Hayes game. He was against the Kings. And he gave the Aaron Fox fits. It gives me, a little something to go home with.
I refuse to believe that he is done in the NBA. He is a Kris Dunn candidate in my mind. I think he figures out a way back. I mean, really, the big problem with Killian Hayes is shot selection and inability to hit threes consistently. But both of those are improvable a lot. And I think if you've been in such a bad situation as Detroit, where you either have a full green light and shouldn't, or have like no green light and are getting yanked, like it's hard to develop that balance. I'm not sure where I see the return coming, and maybe he needs a year or two in Europe, but I think he ends up back here.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he actually did make some improvements in his most recent season. Played fairly well by his own standards as they set the streak for worst team of all time. I think obviously the ecosystem's not good when you're part of the literal worst team of all time. It's probably pretty hard to develop. And I think that he did make some strides in terms of his finishing. The shooting is up slightly, the floater is sort of coming along. And then obviously one of the best defensive guards in the NBA as well. And still young, still got good, like physical potential, good size, smart player, other than his shot selection and everything else like that. So I think that there is a future for Killian Hayes. But I think the team that he goes to is going to decide his future. If he tries to jump in on like the Lakers, like it's all over. If he can find a rebuilding team with some structure and some developmental, talent, then I think he's a future NBA player.
Maybe
really
Orlando.
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just thinking about team fits. Maybe Orlando's the right place for him when they lose one of those guards this offseason. Because I don't think they can keep Cole, Fultz, and Suggs. But like he could kind of plug in to be that third guard or whatnot off the bench when they lose one of those three. He has like he'd be fine. They're still young and rebuilding, but they're not like what Memphis is this year.
Or what Detroit is.
Yeah.
I really like that. That's a wonderful pick for him to kind of fit in that mishmash of guards. I could see like Chicago loves doing stupid shit. I could see him replacing like Javon Carter or something, and whatever they decide to do in the offseason.
To be fair, Chicago's done a decent job of developing guards between Caruso,
White,
who was fairly good already, and then Kobe and Ayo are two sort of big improvement candidates. So maybe that wouldn't be too bad of a fit.
I like it. I still feel like it is interesting. I think Hayes is a good defender. I think he's a really talented passer. The whole like ball in hoop concept, fucking way over his head. Like just not applicable. But I'd even be interested in Sacramento. What I wanted to mention though is like a rebuilding team with some structure doesn't really seem to exist right now. Just like the way that the Spurs, because like Washington's a non-serious basketball team. Like Charlotte has the net rating of a team that should win 12 games. Like they've already exceeded how many games they should have won. They get blown out so much. I feel like there is that like they're just not very many good fits at the bottom. Kind of bad basketball down there.
There's a reason why they're bad. It's not like these teams just, out of the blue fell into horrid circumstances. They're there because of choices they've made. and sometimes choices they've made multiple times. Did you guys see Kyle Kuzma's comments about Draymond punching Jordan Poole?
I thought it was a joke. Did he really say that?
Yes.
He fucking said that? Oh my.
Well, it's taken a
Dylan
little bit out of context.
I hope he's. I hope it was.
So he was asked about playing with Poole, and he said something along the lines of like, yeah, Poole is a confident guy who, like, you know, says what he means and is what he's about. And he's like, I've made my money, I've won my championship, like, I'm here, I'm established. And that can rub some guys the wrong way. So, like, I know why Draymond punched him. But, like, what became the talking point was, like, I know why Draymond punched him.
Yeah.
I think he does know. I think Jordan Poole is the worst basketball player, like, currently getting heavy minutes.
Well, now Killian's
is
out of the league.
It is kind of insane, though. Like, Jordan Poole was given all the freedom to do anything he wanted on this Wizards team, and all he wanted to do was score kind of bad. It's like all he was interested in. It's like, I just want to get like 18 points on 40% shooting. I'm good.
Yeah, it's like you can be whoever you want, and then you became their third best guard.
Yeah, it's like I actually just don't want to be very good. Like that's my passion is bad basketball.
Yeah, too bad he is not a done or done candidate, because with that contract, he'll be here next year.
I thought about it.
Maybe he should be.
The contract keeps him in the league, though. It's like what are you gonna do?
You got to give him a chance.
Does he play for like Houston? Like, does he even play for a team that's trying to make the play-in? Because the Wizards benched him for a little bit, and like his minutes have gone down, or have been inconsistent over the season for a team that's the worst team in the league.
Yeah, well, there's probably like a little bit of a feedback loop where the reason that he's so bad is that he's on the worst team in the league, and the reason that they're the worst team in the league is because he's playing for them. So maybe on a better team that looks a bit better. Like, this guy was like a starting caliber player on a championship caliber team, like a couple years ago.
I think we just don't give Steph Curry enough credit.
Or Draymond Green.
Drag that dude around. It was a great punch. She hit square in the face. I do feel like I don't imagine Poole fitting back into that role. Like he experienced what it's like to be like to do whatever he wants. I feel like he's never going back. I don't see that.
Yeah, but if you ask me, could you put him on Houston, and could he be giving you what Jalen Green is doing, or what Jalen Green did for the last 64 games, not counting his last 6 games where he has been phenomenal and Houston's been clicking, and he just dropped 40 points last night. That's the next game in my queue to try to catch up on. Yeah, I was gone in Iowa for a work conference this week, so like I got back and I've just been mainlining games straight into my veins, basically. You know, Anthony Edwards can really dunk. Like, did you guys see that one? That was a good one. Yeah, I've just been riding the high. Also, Atlanta has this kid, Vit something, that's like a 6'8". Listed at 6'8", probably like, yeah. I'm in love with Vit Krejci right now. That guy is fun.
Vit Krejci mention, I like it,
dude. He is not done. He is Kris Dunn, except for probably even better. Like, the guy is making less than $400,000 a year. He's not a 1%er. That's all. But he looks nice. I don't know where we're at. I'm just sugar high.
Dylan's pick. I think I said yeah.
Dylan, give me a guy.
Yuta Watanabe. Like, one season removed from being a guy who provided a lot of value with his ability to hit 3-point shots and be really big, given him positional versatility. Went to Phoenix, totally unplayable. Maybe on his way out of the league. Is he done, or is he the next Kris Dunn?
I mean, he passes the Lakers test. He would be very nice to have with LeBron and Anthony Davis. So for that reason, I'm going to have to go with Kris Dunn. Yeah, he doesn't provide much with his size, other than just being able to catch and shoot. It'd be nice if that size could also provide weak side rim protection or some modicum of defensive ability. But that level of shooting, there's a place for it in the league.
I feel like I'm using the Lakers test differently because if I can picture them being on the Lakers, that means they're done. Like
Yeah.
if I could like, oh yeah, they'd be a
Yeah.
Laker. That means like it's
Yeah, this is
over.
the Lakers' eighth man. He's done. He's over.
This is like, it's Jackson Hayes. It's like, yeah, no, that was awful, and he's gone. Um, I think I'm gonna actually lean towards Dunn. I guess I can't see him being any better than he was in 2023 because he's already 29. In 2023 it was like 16 minutes a game. He took 2.3 threes. It was a small sample size and really hot shooting. I don't think he could be any more than that. And I thought he was in a really good spot in Phoenix where it's like 3 on-ball creators. Awesome. I just get to stand in the corner and take these threes, and just didn't work out. I don't know if there's a better place for him.
A better place for him would be a place where he is not required to defend or rebound, which when sharing the court with Grayson Allen, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, I don't think you got to share the court that much with Bradley Beal because of injuries. But with the other three, your best skill is duplicated. Your worst skill is is like what they need.
How
And
much
so
are you
it's-
fucking catering to Yuta Watanabe? She's like who's building
Teams
a
just
whole
need
lineup
to-
around him. Like
Teams just need to build their
ridiculous.
team around Yuta Watanabe's strengths.
I'm
His,
just-
Go to
I-
the-
They need to focus
Come
on
on,
his
coach.
52% three-point corner shooting,
That's-
I'm just
not his
saying,
inability to defend.
with the Lakers, his inability to defend is better because you've got Anthony Davis behind him, and his ability to shoot is like desperately needed because it's LeBron, Davis, and like Torian Prince or Rui Hachimura out there. So like having another shooter is really helpful. Whereas it's kind of just in Phoenix. You already have like if you've got who do you want doing a catch and shoot shot? Grayson Allen, Durant, Booker, or Utah?
Yeah, I get that. I feel like it's another Lakers conundrum where they bring in a role player who's good at one thing, and then when their lineups are a disaster because they have 5 guys who are good at one thing, they don't like anamorph into a good player. They are all 5 players that suck at multiple parts of the game, and so I feel like he would fit in nicely, but it'd be just as big of a disaster.
Well, at some point, the Lakers will get Marvel Agents of Shield Kree technology to figure out how to combine those players into the Super Scroll, like we saw in Secret Invasion, and then they'll be able to shoot threes like Yuta Watanabe, defend like Torian Prince, rebound and catch lobs like Jackson Hayes, and have a decent working mindset like Max Christie. And like that'll be a good player. Just need Marvel technology.
It's called duct tape. They just duct tape them together.
I love how the Lakers best case scenario of combining 5 different guys is like a kind of okay player.
On that note, I have one of my EuroLeague guys to be a Kris Dunn candidate. Can I tell you guys why Gershon Yabusele should come back to the league?
Wow, I looked at him and I was like, that'd be the stupidest thing I ever could do. And I decided not to do it.
What? All right, Manson
He played 2
EuroLeague.
years.
Yeah. And he's now hitting his prime. He's like 28, 29. He's averaging 10 points, 5 boards in Europe while hitting 48% of his threes. Man's putting up a good number of threes, 2.5 in the EuroLeague, 3 in Ligma ACB. I believe that is Spanish league, top tier Spanish league. And in the Spanish league, he's hitting 47%. In the EuroLeague, he's hitting 49% of his threes. Like, we already know he can play defense. If the scoring and rebounding's there, plus an added 3-point shot, that sounds like a good Laker. That's what we're looking for.
Do you know what that sounds like? Is the exact career trajectory of PJ Tucker, who came into the league, was a solid athlete, couldn't really do anything else, washed out of the league, went to Europe, learned how to shoot, came back, and was an elite 3-and-D player for like 2 years, and then became washed again.
Yeah. PJ could be on one of your guys' done list. And then we've got Gershon Yabusele, new age PJ Tucker for the Kris Dunn list.
How about Yabu next to Wemby? You get the French starting front court. The big body next to the
long body.
long body.
It's, you got length and you got girth in the front court, and that's all you need. And then you got Killian Hayes. Just build the French team.
Build it. Get Evan Fournier from the Knicks. He's done, or Kris Dunn.
Was he on any of your guys' list?
Hell no. No. I looked at that and I'm like, that'd be funny if I said that. But I never took it further than that.
Well, I kind of debated because he is a done candidate. Like, he could be this is the last we see of him.
He's not a candidate because he's already achieved done status. Like,
because he's already gone.
He's graduated.
When was he out of the league? 2015.
Gentlemen, when's the last time you watched a Pistons game?
Oh yeah, I watched him. He was in their closing lineup against oh god, who was it that killed him with a crazy shot to win the game? These games all blur into one. Either way, Evan Fournier is playing minutes.
He's getting real minutes now. It's getting bad. All right, Gershon was my guy. Aaron, who you got?
My pick is Ty Washington.
Oh, get him out of the league. Let's stop pretending here.
Slotted first round pick, like lottery pick, mysteriously falls to 29 to Houston, gets shipped to Minnesota, has not been able to crack that rotation. That's my that's the background on Ty Washington. Milwaukee, sorry. The MILMIN.
I did a rankings of the greatest 70-point games in NBA history. There's been 15 of them, so I just ranked those 15 games. And I had Damian Lillard very low. And a lot of people were like, what do you mean he's so low? I'm like, he scored 70 on Ty Washington, Deshaun Knicks. Yeah, I know it was relatively efficient. Yeah, I know a lot of these other games came against poor defenses, but I think you could score. I think almost any NBA star could score 70 against G League talent, and that's what Ty is.
I like it. Really quick, I wanted to throw him out there because I remember him being mocked as high as 10. Like, he was the best point guard in the class. That was the 2022 draft class. He's played in 36 games. And part of me feels like there's no way we figured, there's no way he's given a fair shake. And so I'm more interested in other guys that have played a lot and been terrible. But just toss it out there. Come on, I know you guys have Ty Washington takes. They're just bursting out of the seams. Someone's got
that was my take. That was
a great take. That was a great take. I like.
He's done. He's out of the league.
He's done. He's done.
He's 22 years old as well, so it's
hard to say no.
You
never know.
All right. Speaking of almost out of the league. Oh, do you want the American Yabu? I've got the American Yabu on my list, which is Ishmael Wainwright.
Ish Wainwright?
Ish Wainwright. He's like
Where's he at right now?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's on a team. For those who don't know, Ish Wainwright is this 6'5" center that's built like he looks like a offensive lineman. Defensive line. I don't know football positions. He looks like a football guy. He's big and strong. solid defender, like good athlete. Really fits best as a small ball center, but can't really shoot.
Sounds great.
If you want a guy that's 6'5", 300 pounds of muscle,
I'm so
check out
curious
Ish
to
Wainwright.
I'm so curious to if you're gonna go for this guy should be a Kris Dunn candidate, because like it really feels like he is just a regular Dunn candidate.
That wouldn't be interesting though. Like, wouldn't this he's
I,
shitting on a bad player? This scares this guy. He sucks. Like, it's moving on.
Do you guys remember a couple of years, maybe just like a year or two ago, there was a social media thing where someone was like asking people, "Can you name an NBA player?" And this girl was like, naming like all the Phoenix Suns, and she named Ish Wainwright like super early. Everyone was like, "How do you know? What? Who is Ish Wainwright?" And then it became like, well, she must be sleeping with Ish Wainwright, and got like pretty toxic. She's like, "No, I just watch basketball, like just trying to own the guy." And it was good. It was like the random pull for her. So that's what I'll always remember about Ish Wainwright, more so than anything he ever did on the court.
When I watched him last year in Phoenix, I thought he looked pretty good. I thought he looked like an NBA rotation player. And so I have Ish Wainwright stock. I can't remember where he's at. I'm pretty sure he's on an NBA team. He's playing. He's on Portland.
He is on Phoenix as of March 4th. The
return.
Yeah. The Phoenix had to cut him when they facilitated some trades.
This is going to turn their season around. This is what they've been missing. This is like David Roddy, Keita Bates-Diop. They're just the discount version of Ish Wainwright. They finally
Royce
got their
O'Neal.
man.
All right. I have another couple of guys that are younger. And I think sadly they're probably just done candidates. So I'm going to say them both. It's Kyra Lewis and James Bouknight, who are 22 and 23 respectively. Both high picks. I don't know if they're both lottery or like 14, 15, but they're like 10 to 15 draft picks from a couple of years ago. Gentlemen, do either of you believe that either of these guys could be a Kris Dunn candidate?
Is James Bouknight in the league still?
He is still
He's
on
still
Charlotte's
on the Bucks, right?
roster.
Oh, he's on Charlotte. I get him mixed up with Majon Beauchamp.
Yeah.
Very different players. From both of you. I was like, yeah, I get it.
Man, I feel like I should have gotten spicier with these picks. Like Mitch McGarry's. I should have pulled out some deeper cuts, man. Man, Bouknight has been pretty horrendous. He shoots 36% and 5 points a night. And Charlotte is the place to play bad basketball, like recently. If you're gonna figure it out, if you're gonna be that go-to scorer, gonna show some scoring prowess, there's the place to do it. I'm just gonna say done. I'm gonna say it's a depressing, resounding done.
Yeah, I agree. Like the bench scorer who's actually really bad at scoring is my least favorite archetype in the NBA.
Bones Island, put him on this list.
Hey, easy. And as for Kyra, like it's been injuries for him. He hasn't had a healthy season, but he's also a small guard. And so when you're a small guard, you're really fighting uphill. And when you struggle to stay healthy, that's not a good sign. But he is the kind of player I think that could have a very successful overseas career. Like he's the kind of guy that absolutely puts up buckets for like AS Monaco.
Like Taiwan? I don't know if he's getting into the nicer leagues. All right.
Yeah, the injuries are definitely going to hurt. With, I mean, he was supposed to be a fast guard and just got banged up again and again. Like it not working out in New Orleans, I'm okay with it. That happens. Like they are a crazy deep team, who knew Jose Alvarado was going to show up and just snag all of the bench backup minutes. Like, but the fact that he's been in Utah for a couple of weeks now is still just not showing anything. And they're actively trying to play the young guys to see what they have. I kind of just think that we're not going to see him in the NBA next year. They're both done candidates in my book.
Book Knight feels like the kind of guy that you just see like on the end of like a cap sheet for the next few years, just like matching salary hanging around, waiting to be moved.
Yeah, James Booknight got traded again. Like, yeah.
There we go.
For him.
Aaron, what else you got?
Let me think. Davion Mitchell.
Oh.
I don't know that I see him as either done or done. Like, I think he's probably just going to keep limping along and being okay.
So fucking depressing, dude. That's so depressing. I can't get out of this. 9th overall pick in 2021. Yet he is Ben Simmons' age. He's 25 years old. 27 minutes tonight as a rookie, then 18 down to 14, 13.8 this season. I'll withhold my displeasure and let you guys make your picks.
You go, Nat. I'm just going to pull the stats.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron. Davion Mitchell is one of the top 300 players in the NBA. And that's unfortunately good enough to not wash out.
That's not
bad
true.
enough that you're stuck with him. Listen, he was probably pretty close to 300.
That's not true.
But you're stuck with him. I mean, he's not going to be in Europe next year. He will still be in the NBA. Maybe with Kings, maybe not.
He should be. He should be. I just I think with Keon Ellis's arrival, the only thing keeping David in the lineup is the myriad of injuries we've had with like Herter and whatnot. He shouldn't be playing. And I think with Keon, you finally see like what an actual like a really impactful point of attack defender looks like. Someone who has length and height and like can stay in front of bigger guards and can shoot threes. I don't think any team should want him. On my scale, if we're gonna get with the numbers, as of yesterday, he's 426th.
That's close to top 300. Your scale's not perfect, you know.
Sandwich between Lindsey Waters III and Colin Giuseppe.
Do you have the full list in front of you?
Yeah.
Where's Patrick Beverley?
And who is guy 300? I want to know if I can make a case like that Davion's better than guy 300.
I'll make sure it's not. Make sure it's someone who's actually played a little bit. Beverly is 268.
I'd take Davion over Patrick Beverley.
No, you wouldn't. Why would you do that? Why? No, you would not. Davion Mitchell cannot hold the ball. He can't. If he has the ball in his hands, like, you made a massive mistake. Number 300 is 1 second. Has this person played enough? Yes, I think. Yes, it's Kenrich Williams.
I don't know. I actually might take
Kenrich Williams is definitely better than Davion Mitchell.
There's some hustle.
It's not close. I also want to mention, I wanted to bring this up earlier, but the moment passed. Frankie Smokes, out of 560 players that have played a single second in the NBA, Frankie Smokes is 538th.
It's been a rough.
And I still believe.
I still believe.
Fun fact: since we mentioned Kenrich Williams, he averages the fewest free throw makes per the most minutes played between free throw makes. So he's in NBA history.
Interesting.
I think it's like 0 for 1 on the season or something ridiculous. Like 1 for 3 or something.
That's bad.
Despite playing legitimate rotation minutes.
All right. If I have to choose Dunn or Kris Dunn, I am choosing Kris Dunn for Davion. I think a change of scenery will do him well.
You fucking take him. Yeah, I hope your Lakers snatch him up. I hope you have to watch Davion Mitchell minutes.
Oh man, all these like almost out of the league guys, I can just picture so vividly of playing for the
Yeah.
Lakers. I'm like, that's
Like,
just
ooh.
so Lakers.
Off night. It is pretty insane because the lineups are like identical. But if it's Fox instead of Davion, it's like the best in the league. If it's Keon instead of Davion, it's the best in the league. If it's a Mug instead of Davion, it's the best in the league. If it's Davion, it's the worst in the league. Everything else is identical, but him being like the focal point. Sorry, I reserve my anger.
He should not be the focal point.
He shouldn't be on the court is my problem. He shouldn't be anywhere close to the court. Okay, Dylan, it's your pick.
All right. Small guard bucket getter, stuck to the bench on a terrible team trying to develop young players. Do you guys see a future for Devontae Graham, who 2 seasons ago was a starting caliber player on a playoff team before being ruthlessly sent to the San Antonio bench where they refuse to play him even though he makes their team better every time he plays?
I think the only time I have ever had a remotely viral tweet was tweeting about Devontae Graham when Shams tried to call him like a sharpshooter when the Spurs traded for him. And I was just like, bro, he is like the 102nd guy in 3-point percentage this year. And people getting mad or people liking it and the people being like, yeah, but he shoots like 8 a game. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's the problem. The fact that he jacks up so many threes and he does not hit a great percentage of them. I have been out on Devontae Graham. Like, I'm sure he'll be in the league next year. Just from
Are you?
like, yeah. What does his contract look like? I mean, does he have?
Okay, yeah, that Spurs might still owe him $11 million next year.
Yeah. So he'll be somewhere in the league. I just, if I don't ever watch him play again, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna be sad about it. He can go, hang out with Davion Mitchell. Maybe he's a guy that Davion Mitchell could actually, shut down. There. That's how I feel about him.
Perfect. He'd be marvelous for that.
Aaron, where are you at? Are you Dunn or Kris Dunn on Devontae Graham?
I'm still a little interested. I'll say Kris Dunn. He'll be in the league.
He can create 3-point shooting opportunities and knock them down at a crisp 35%.
Hell yeah.
All right, I want to do one more round of this.
Okay.
And then I have a couple of names that are just, are they done or will we see them again? Candidates. My last guy is Mo Bamba.
On my list.
Gentlemen, give me your takes. What are your thoughts?
I actually do think he's done. I think he was out of the Philly rotation until Embiid got injured. I don't feel like I think he's been getting these chances because his physical frame is like one of one. He has shown a little bit of range and like the shot blocking is obviously there, but the basketball portion of it is really bad. And I don't see I don't see him doing anything other than third string center.
Yeah. I've made a pretty decent track record by just being low on every single projected lottery center. Whenever people are talking about centers in the top 5, I was like, no, I don't buy it. And most of the time I'm right. Mo Bamba was the one center that I actually did believe in, that I actually thought was going to be a really good player. But I agree. I think he's out. He's been given a lot of opportunities. I think he wasn't that bad a couple seasons ago in Charlotte. Sorry, in Orlando before they made the wise decision to go with Wendell Carter, who is so good that he is benched for Goga Batadze. But the
So,
shot blocking's there.
disrespectful.
Some of the shootings there. Cannot finish around the rim. Not a one of the big things coming in was he's supposed to be this really intelligent person, but that doesn't translate at all, it seems, to the NBA court. And so I think he's done. He's a Hall of Fame, 2016 rap song. My first year at university, that song was going crazy. But I think he's done.
I can picture him as this generation's Nerlens Noel. Just kind of hangs
Who
out.
is still currently in the league.
Yeah, so you get these chances, but Noel hasn't played like consistent minutes for a long time.
Yeah. I hate to tell you this. I am on the Kris Dunn side of things. I was out, watched the game in the last week or two of Philly, and he started, and he looked solid. There was like good rim protection. There was spacing and shooting. I don't know if there were threes or just deep twos, but I kind of started to believe again. Like, he's been hurt, he's been banged up off and on. And like, I think he started the year injured and then just struggled to get into the rotation. I don't know where it is. I don't know what the fit is, but I want to believe in a future where Mo Bamba plays in the NBA till he's 35. I want him to be Bismack Biyombo. Like,
Beyond, but that's a better comp, honestly.
Biyombo. I think
Right,
there's a chance.
You convinced me. I'm back in. The
There it
rim
is.
protection.
Yeah, I'm
the,
in.
the rim protection
Check me out,
numbers, in small sample size, actually have been pretty good throughout his career. And the 3-point shooting this year on a very small sample is looking good. The 3-and-D center, the rim protecting 3-point shooting center, is so rare and so valuable that if he can get to acceptable levels in both of those, that's immediately a solid backup center.
Yeah.
Did somebody say? Go ahead, Nate.
Pair him with Victor Wembanyama and Gershon Yabusele, and that front court's, or that 3-man rotation, that's dangerous.
Did someone say 3-point shooting, rim protecting big men? Can I interest you guys in a James Wiseman?
Ooh, just dropped 22 points on the Boston Celtics like last night. It's like a 22-9 game or something. I thought about having him on my list. The fact that he's under contract next year just makes me know like he will still be in the league, or he's a restricted free agent in next year. He's going to be here. I'm neither low enough
He's
on him
taking
to call
Jackson
him
Hayes'
done.
spot.
Yeah.
Yes. Hell yeah, he is.
Yeah. Just...
Oh, I can't wait. The Lakers collect the dumbest centers on earth.
hey, Mr. My team drafted Marvin Bagley.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I thought about having Bagley on this list, but I feel like he plays at least a backup center. Like, someone will have him as a backup center.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
kind of
like,
where I feel about.
I'm kind of in the same position with Wiseman, where I'm totally out on him as a player. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be a good player. But centers with good physical tools who are high draft picks and have a big reputation, and then put up some box score numbers. Like, those guys hang around on, as backup centers for years. Andre Drummond is still getting minutes.
Yeah.
Andre Drummond been all NBA team. Like, I think there are different levels of player we're talking about here, but
I don't know.
I want to say that Wiseman won't last very long. I can't really picture anyone just like next year out of the league, like it's not happening. In 2 years, in 3 years, eventually someone's gonna be like, this sucks. I'm tired of like having to babysit Wiseman on the court. But I also wanted to congratulate Russell Westbrook from graduating from this program. Did not make an appearance on the Done or Done podcast. Unbelievable.
Well, there's still one more pick.
I'm not saying him. I'm not digging that any deeper.
We should do this next year, but it's instead of it's done or done candidates, but it's just like the entire Lakers bench, and we just say whether they're ever going to play again.
I love the Lakers roast. It's just I thought about Cam. I was like, Cam Reddish, put him on here. Although Reddish defensively, like I've really liked him at moments, which made me mad because I wanted him to be bad so much, and he just hasn't been. He's been fine. His defense is good.
If it makes you feel any better, I really considered putting Torian Prince on my list of just like
someone warned you guys that Torian Prince fucking blows. Someone said that in the offseason. I was like, Troy Brown Jr. and Torian Prince are the same person. You cannot convince me there's a difference. Someone tried to tell me there's a difference between the two.
The problem is that he
when you have dreadlocks, you look like you can defend.
Right? I can't do it.
High school Nate did have dreadlocks. That was a thing.
Wow.
Question for you guys. Who has put up more points and rebounds per game this year? Andre Drummond or James Wiseman?
Points and rebounds, you said?
Yes.
Combined.
Points per game, rebounds per game.
I think it's Drummond.
I think it's also Drummond.
Give you guys the hint.
Drummond's been playing really well, actually, for Chicago. I think he's they don't want to admit it, but he's better than Nikola Vucevic. And has, I think, graduated from like only in the league because he's 7 foot to only in the league because he kind of is an all right backup center. A solid backup center.
It is Andre Drummond, who is averaging 8.3 points and 8.7 rebounds to James Wiseman's 6.7 points and 4.8 rebounds.
That's such a shitty stat line, though. It's like we're talking about Wiseman like a backup center. It's 6 and 4. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 6 and 4 and 15 and a half minutes per game.
And it's just like the minutes are so up and down. He had the reason he had 24 points and 9 boards against Boston is because they got annihilated, and he got just to play whatever minutes. In the other games that are a little bit closer, he doesn't play as much.
Yeah, Svi Mikhailiuk throwing up brick 3-pointers really gives a lot of rebound opportunities. I want to one day do a deep dive and explain the Andre Drummond bizarre phenomenon where he averaged like 15 rebounds and isn't a good rebounder. I really want to, dig through that one day.
You're going to watch a lot of terrible basketball if you do a film study on that.
Yeah. I want to show all the instances of Andre Drummond, getting 20 rebounds in a game and giving up 20 offensive rebounds as well.
Is that the Chimezie Metu special where he jumps to block a shot and just for no fucking reason just dives, tries to block a shot, and just put it way out of position? Something similar to that?
It's a combination of that and also never boxing out for his teammate to get a rebound and making every rebound a contested rebound instead of just boxing out your man and letting another guy on your team get the rebound. Detroit, and then Andre Drummond's prime, averaging 20 rebounds a game or whatever, was a bad rebounding team.
Chimezie Metu,
they were a
on
better
the Pistons
rebounding
right
team
now.
with him off.
This all loops together.
You
Wait,
can
is
get
Chimezie on the Pistons?
You can get
10
better
on the Pistons.
Oh my god!
Go ahead, Dylan. Sorry.
A lot of people don't realize you can get empty stats rebounding as well. It's not just
Russell
points.
Westbrook.
You can be an empty stats player rebounding.
Moses Malone.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'll say it. He did.
I was doing
on purpose and cut his own rebound.
I was doing a Poku watch to try to see how he was doing in Charlotte, and I saw one of the most empty assists. Misic passed it to Poku at the 3-point line. He does a cross, then 3 dribble drive, gets blocked, but it's called a goaltending, and they gave Misic the assist on that shot.
That's the Stockton special. That Stockton was getting shit like that all day, and with Karl Malone.
Oh, like that's ridiculous. Like, one, you did not set him up. He caught it. He stood there. He dribbled. He drove. And then 2, he didn't even make the basket. I don't think you should get I don't think you should get assists on goaltended shots.
Yeah. I also don't think you should get an assist on AM1s. That's one of my random hot takes.
Interesting.
If the dude got fouled, you didn't really assist them.
I think
I will say, like, Chris Paul's thrown a lot of lobs to DeAndre Jordan that became and ones.
Yeah, that's fair. Where the dude's just so out of position, he's like contesting his like stomach.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like
The
if
ball,
you
so
make
yeah.
a pass and they get hammered and they make both free throws, it should be an assist. Because it's like, well, what if they didn't get fouled? Maybe they make that. Why does the foul prevent the assist? I wanted to mention that Chimezie Metu was the starting center on the Kings last year, and he currently is on a 10-day contract for the worst team in the league. And our other backup center is on the fucking Wizards. It's like I try to tell you that our center depth was the worst in the league last year, and no one believed me.
we believe
All right.
you now, Aaron. Dylan, who's
I'll
your last guy?
I'll throw in out one more guy, who holds a special place in my heart, and probably my heart alone. Anyone still believe? Anyone want to buy some Marcus Morris stock?
Wow.
Traded to the
Morris?
Sixers for James Harden.
Wow.
Washed out on the Sixers. Traded to the Spurs. Waived. I think someone picked him up recently.
No.
I'm not interested. I guess I've never been interested.
Yeah, this is
why?
He was in my completely done list that I was about to pivot us to of like, all right, is this guy just have we seen the last NBA minutes from this player? But no. Do you think that he'll find a place and be a rotation guy?
It doesn't seem like it by how long it took him to like find a team. Like he got waived and everyone's like, we're good. Like
Yeah, why would you want that?
He's been throughout his entire career pretty much a consistent 3-point shooter who's got a little bit of shot creation ability. He's got positional size that he can defend as long as they're not too fast or skillful, 3 through 5. Can get down in the mid range. He's a between 45 and 55% mid range shooter over his last few seasons. Like he's got some scoring ability and he's got positional size. That's a valuable skill set. I still believe in Marcus Morris.
Man, can I give you my last? And we don't have to touch on this at all. I'll just ask this question: do you guys think Shabazz Muhammad is playing in anywhere near the NBA, G League or professional?
I feel like I saw him in the G League pop up. Is he in the G League?
He is in the G League. Stockton Kings. He played 2 games, and I'm waiting for the call up. Shabazz Muhammad, 31 years old, still got it.
All right. So I wanted to read through a list of guys and just tell me if you think this is the last year we're going to see this player in the NBA. Because like some of these guys are older, like veteran guys that just won't feel right if they're not back in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But
you want to go rapid fire?
Yeah, it's gonna be your kind of in memoriam, pre-in memoriam.
I like that memoriam.
Chris Paul.
No, he's a rotation player.
PJ Tucker.
Yes.
Yeah, washed.
Rip.
Yeah, washed doesn't necessarily mean out of the league, as we'll see with our next candidate. Will Taj Gibson play an NBA minute next year?
Yes. Yes, he will. 10-day.
I think 10-day Taj, it's time to hang it up after the season.
I think he's gonna go.
Uncle Jeff Green.
I think it's time.
No, I think Green's sticking around.
Kyle Lowry.
No.
Yeah, no, he's still a
No,
rotation
isn't
player.
he's back? Okay.
Yeah, he's back.
All right. Wes Matthews.
Yes,
gone.
Currently playing in the Atlanta Hawks. Ooh, we got one yes and one gone.
Well, I meant yes, he's gone. What's the answer? Is it? Yeah, you're right. It's yes. It's
we need done or back.
All right,
he's done.
all right. He's done.
JaVale McGee.
Done.
No, he's not done. He's still in. I like the JaVale McGee minutes.
Danilo Gallinari.
Done.
Done, yeah.
Nicole Batum.
He's back. Sticking around.
He is good enough to be back. His wife said that he was going to retire. He never said that, but his wife said that he is going to. So we'll see where the who wins that argument.
See, that's a deep cut I don't have access to.
yeah. I'm part of the Batum Battalion. I've got all the lore.
35-year-old DeAndre Jordan.
I think he's back. I wrote him down. I had a list of like old guys that are probably gonna leave, and I said DeAndre, but like I would have said that 5 years ago, and yet he's still here. And so I feel like he's gonna be back.
Yeah. I think he's got another season. That vegan diet's going to keep him going.
Boban Marjanovic.
Houston's got a spot for him all day.
Yeah, at this point, he's there for vibes. I think he's got another year of vibes.
They did just bring in Steven Adams.
Oh man,
that is more vibes. That's a vibe.
Steven Adams plus Boban. That's about to be the best locker room in the NBA.
All right, let's get one. Well, you know what? Isaiah Thomas. He has played an NBA game this year. Will he play an NBA game next year?
No. It's cool that he came back though. Finally made it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's a good wrap on will these older guys be just done.
Can I toss in a few?
Yeah. I want to rapid fire empty out the notebook.
Derrick Rose.
Gone. He was really bad this year.
He'll be back.
Seth Curry.
He was one I considered for done or done because he's been really terrible this year, but he was actually really good last year. So hopefully it's a bounce back. I think he'll be back.
I hope he retires. I think the fact that he's in Charlotte right now, getting to like live out the last of his days with the Hornets, like
I don't know if I call that living.
Suffering. Will Ish Smith play for another team?
It's that asking will he play for a new franchise or one of the 15 franchises he's already played for another time?
Either one.
Yeah, I think he'll be back next year.
I think he's gone. No. You got to create space for Killian Hayes and
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
Right.
One more. Thaddeus Young.
Gone.
Thaddeus Johnson finally gone. He's been 32 years old for 20 years. He's finally retiring.
Yeah, I had him in my also considered for done or done. And yeah, I think it's the end. I'll just empty out the notebook. Reggie Bullock.
Ooh. I remember when he signed with Houston, and I was just like, why would he sign there? He's got like 1 year left. Might as well try to sign with a contender.
Exactly. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you going to a rebuilding team that's got like 5 guys ahead of you at your position? It was a bizarre signing.
Yeah. Then he got nutmegged by Victor Wembanyama. I'm like, man, he should have been a Laker. But no. Yeah, he's done.
G League superstar Justice Winslow.
Jesus.
Justice Winslow interest?
No.
God.
Done. Done.
For All right.
Sure.
Do you think Pat Riley would sign him? I can see Pat Riley giving him a chance. Pat Riley always loved him.
Hey, Josh Richardson's back on the Heat. You know,
yeah.
Bring him back together. Where's Hassan Whiteside? Is he still in the G League? If you want some empty rebounds.
Hassan Whiteside's probably 300 pounds right now. There's no way that dude is in shape.
All right, who's your last guy?
My last of my also considered Hamidou Diallo.
Thought about it.
I had Hamidou stock once upon a time because he had a surprisingly high number of steals, or like his steal per minutes were insane, and it's like I kind of like that, but have fun in France. All right. Well, Aaron, where can the people find you?
Possible Chairs on TikTok, Possible Chairs on Twitter, my Patreon, brand new, Possible Chairs on there, Possible Chairs Media Lounge, I believe it's called, and this podcast occasionally.
Dylan, where can people find you?
every week on the Hoops Temple podcast. Nate, Aaron, what is that excellent Patreon content? What is that going to set us back a month?
$3,
$3?
Yeah,
$3 a
$3.
month?
I think hourly for the time I put into it, I'm making about 15 cents an hour, and I might be less than that. But it is written content. It is the top 300 list that me and Nate work so hard on. And then I've done 6 write-ups now, I think about 2,000 to 3,000 words on the top 6 players. And we're working on Magic Johnson right now.
All that excellent content for half a cup of coffee.
That is right.
Or one monster at the closest vending machine to me.
Yeah, skip one day of Monster and subscribe to Possible Cheers Patreon.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
And you can find me, Nate_Hoops_Temple on TikTok. You can email the whole show, hoopstemple@gmail.com. I'm the only one that checks it. But if you address it to Aaron or Dylan, I'll forward it their way and they can respond to you. Hope you guys have a great week. And
feel free to email in and tell me whether I am Dunn or Kris Dunn. I promise I'll take it to heart.
And now we are done. Not Kris Dunn.